Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we're here to talk Smackdown Live. It is the 22nd of January today. Tonight's Smackdown Live came to us from Wichita, Kansas, and I thought it was a pretty good show, and all things considered, a really good main event that had a finish that I wouldn't have done. I guess it kind of made sense for the Royal Rumble coming up this Sunday, but I mean, the match in itself was great. There was some stuff really good with Asuka and Becky. Charlotte was okay on the show. She came off a little robotic like she does a lot of times. Let's see who's with us in the chat. We got Daniel Hernandez, Luke Might, Woken King Slender, Travis Ray, Kristen McNutt, Andrew Mendoza, Benjamin A., Omar Mohammed, my bad. So with that, SmackDown kicked off with the man, Becky Lynch, starting the show for the second week in a row. She kicked off the show last week as well. She said that the only thing that's next for the man is to main event WrestleMania. Well, we'll see. I think it's going to happen. She turned her attention to her match this Sunday with Asuka, though. She pointed out that Asuka never beat her for the title. She promised to win her title back at the Royal Rumble. She said she will do so and do whatever it takes to win that belt. Asuka would then come out and come down to the ring. The two got face to face and yelled at each other for a minute or two. Charlotte would then come down and walk down the ramp. Flair noted that she enjoys seeing them argue and beat the hell out of each other. She promised that she will be the one to win the Royal Rumble and then go on to WrestleMania. She said last year, this time, Asuka, you may have won the Rumble, but at WrestleMania, I defeated you. I took out the undefeated streak of Asuka. She then went on to say, Becky, you may have had my number a couple times the last couple of months, but for the last 4 years, I have run this division. I mean, kinda. She was kinda right there. She kinda ran the division. I mean, she was the champ for a very long time. She had that pay-per-view undefeated streak, so I guess she can kind of stake claim to that a little bit. With that, she said that she even took out Ronda Rousey at a Survivor Series. She then talked about what did she say? She said, Becky, you should know everything that I've did with Ken. And Becky goes, Ken? And she was like, yeah, kendo stick. Like, who the heck's writing this crap? Asuka, as Charlotte was berating Becky Lynch, I guess you could say, Asuka backed up to the other side of the ring. Becky went all the way to the side of the ring looking down at the ramp, and then Asuka attacked her from behind. The two would continue to brawl into the ring before they fell out of the ring, and Charlotte smiled watching on. Asuka then yelled at Lynch as she tried to walk away. The two then battled at ringside. Asuka was thrown over the announce table. Becky then jumped off the announce table and dove onto Asuka. She knocked down Jamie Noble in the process. A bunch of referees, Jamie Noble, Adam Pearce were all down there to break them up. And that's how SmackDown started. Luke Might with the $4.99 Super Chat donation says, hey, Tim, which NXT star do you think will be in the Royal Rumble? And in your opinion, who do you think will win the Royal Rumble? So I assume every call-up that we got this week should be in the Royal Rumble. We know Lacey Evans and Nikki Cross will be, so the women call-ups for sure. I assume EC3 would. We don't know about Lars yet, and I don't know if Heavy Machinery is going to be in the Rumble match or not. As far as who I think is going to win, I'm still sticking with my OG answer. It's Seth Rollins. So with that, we come back from a commercial break. The cameras are backstage, and Asuka and Becky are going at it again. They just could not be contained at all. So with that, we got a weird video package recapping the whole Naomi, Mandy Rose feud storyline, whatever you want to call this jumble. Naomi came out first for their match. Mandy Rose came out second. Naomi jumped Mandy on the ramp. Naomi was firmly in control early until Rose hit a clothesline. Naomi fired back with a kick to the side of the head. She followed that up with a Hurricane Rana. A really good-looking Hurricane Rana. Naomi then ended up on the apron and nailed Rose with a forearm. The force from the hit caused Rose to bump into the referee. Sonya Deville tried to pull Naomi off the apron, and Naomi kicked her in the face. Rose then sent Naomi headfirst into the ring post, pinned her, picked up the victory. I really thought Naomi was going to get the victory since last week in the hotel room, Mandy Rose did get the upper hand. So this wasn't quite 50-50 booking. I was shocked. With that, Jimmy Uso came out to console Naomi after her loss. In the back, we got Rey Mysterio promo. He talked about his 2006 Royal Rumble victory. He talked about everything it took to win, and he plans on repeating that this Sunday. He said, however, tonight, it's all about respect. He said, I was gaining respect for Andrade Cien Almas. Well, not my bad. You can't call him that anymore. For Andrade last week until Zelina Vega had to interfere and interrupt and get involved. He said that Zelina is banned from ringside tonight, so none of that is going to happen. Mysterio then promised he'd beat Andrade, which technically he did, but he really didn't. We'll get to that later. Cesaro versus The Miz. We saw Shane McMahon hyping up The Miz before a commercial break before this match got started. Cesaro nailed Miz with an uppercut early to gain the advantage. Miz fought back and locked on the figure four. Go to a commercial break. When we come back, Cesaro was firmly in control. Miz made a comeback and hit a running drop kick in the corner. Cesaro got a comeback of his own with a big uppercut to The Miz. Cesaro attempted to pin him, but he had his feet on the ropes. Shane pushed his feet off, and Sheamus took out Shane. The finish came when Sheamus rocked Miz with a kick, and Cesaro hit the neutralizer for the victory. Most of these matches tonight seemed short, but it made sense why they seemed short, because it was all leading to them giving enough time and proper time to that main event. So medical staff ran out to check on Miz and Shane McMahon following the match because they were beat up after the match by the Bar. They weren't just beat up, though. They were brutalized. Sheamus hit a bro kick on McMahon, and they beat him down. Miz tried to protect him. The Bar then placed Miz on the announce table, picked up Shane, and basically powerbombed him pretty much through Shane McMahon to the table. We then got a video package hyping up tonight's Samoa Joe versus Mustafa Ali match. So here's what happened with this match. I don't know exactly why this happened, but on the 19th, whatever day that was, 3-4 days ago, they announced on social media, hey, we're going to give you Samoa Joe versus Mustafa Ali. So then, this morning, I'm looking at everything for our Smackdown Live preview, and on WWE.com, that match is not listed. So I'm thinking, okay, they timed out the show. They want to pull something from the show. That's something that's not really storyline driven. Makes sense. No Joe, no Mustafa Ali. Then we get this video package tonight. And I'm like, video package? Are they really going to do the match? Maybe it's just hyping both guys up for the Royal Rumble. So I didn't think too much of it. And then we ended up getting the match. I was a little surprised since they, as of this morning, like 2 hours, an hour, I think, it was the last time I checked it before SmackDown. They still didn't have this match listed on their website. Anyways, video package was really good. Ali did a great promo about Joe's attack from last week and their upcoming match tonight. He talked about seeing the truth in Joe's eyes. He told Joe to look into his eyes because Ali is going to beat him tonight. Backstage, Vince McMahon watched on the monitor as the medical staff checked on his son and The Miz. Vince would then come down to the ring to moderate a face-to-face confrontation between the WWE Champion, the new Daniel Bryan, and AJ Styles. So Vince called both men down to the ring. He introduced AJ Styles first and then the WWE Champion. Bryan came down and refused to get into the ring. He said last week, what did he call it? He said, I can't get in there with that psychopath. Last week you put me through a table with a bunch of, what did he call it? Oh man, I didn't write down the exact verbiage, but he says something like meat packed products because he put him through a table full of hot dogs. Daniel Bryan said that he's embarrassed to share a ring with AJ Styles tonight. Bryan says he can't let Styles win the title because he can't show respect. He noted that Styles wants his fans to eat horribly and wear his merchandise. Styles uses his power for money and greed, but Bryan uses his power for the greater good. Bryan pointed out that Styles might entertain the fans, but he doesn't think about them. He doesn't do anything for the fans. Bryan says that he doesn't care about the people's feelings. Bryan's not the people's champion. He's the planet's champion, and he's all about making this planet a better place. Vince kept yelling at him, just get your ass in the ring, get in the ring, get in the ring. That's pretty funny. Styles said that if the planet had a voice, it would tell him to shut up right now. Bryan didn't. He said, Bryan, it's not like you rode your bike here or anything tonight. You flew on the same plane that I did. Well, the same kind of plane. You know what they call people like that. And I thought he would call him a hypocrite. But then he just says, fickle. I'm like, ooh, chance started chanting fickle for Daniel Bryan. Styles said that the real reason Bryan won't get in the ring is because he's afraid of Styles. Styles said that Bryan is going to have nothing left when he beats him on Sunday for the championship. Bryan tried to speak, but McMahon yelled at him again and said, get in the ring. Bryan's not surprised that McMahon doesn't want to hear any of this. He called McMahon a parasite. Bryan noted that McMahon destroyed the planet in his hoarding of all of his wealth. He said McMahon created a platform for a person like Styles. McMahon yelled at Bryan to get in the ring yet again. Crowd then broke out in a loud yes chant. Styles pointed out that the face-to-face can happen outside the ring if it really needs to, and Styles ran to attack Bryan. He beat him around ringside. He threw Bryan back into the ring and set up for a phenomenal forearm, but at this point, Bryan grabbed Vince and put him in front of him. So AJ did not jump for the forearm. Bryan then ran at him and hit him with the running knees. That's how the segment ended. I thought it was okay. Bryan was just on fire with his promos tonight, though. I thought his promos were, his work tonight on that mic was spot on. Also, if you guys didn't see it on social media, Daniel Bryan was asked about Hideo Itami because he's going to be challenging for the Cruiserweight Championship on Sunday. And Bryan said, is Itami dangerous? Hell yeah, he's dangerous. Him and I had a match in ROH in 2006, and because of it, I can't hear out of my left ear. He said he hit me so hard when we were striking that he basically left me where I can't hear. He said, he answered with, is he dangerous? Of course he's dangerous. I loved it. Daniel Bryan's been fire recently. So in the back, Truth and Carmella discussed entering the Royal Rumble. They're both entering at number 30. Truth said if he wins, he's not facing Brock Lesnar because he doesn't want to go to the Sussex Falls City. Carmella corrected him and said Suplex City. And then Truth said, yeah, I don't want to go there either. He then said something about cruiserweights, and she said, I think there's a weight limit, and you don't weigh enough. You're too heavy for that. And Truth goes, ooh, what? You calling me fat? She goes, you know that's not what I said. So Truth walks off. Carmella walks a couple more steps, and she runs into Charlotte Flair. Carmella reminded Flair that she's number 30. She said, you weren't in the Royal Rumble last year, so you don't know what the Rumble is all about. It's a tornado. It's crazy. You got to keep your head on a swivel at all times. Charlotte said, I'm not worried. Number 30, that's just an excuse. That's just a way for you to think that you've got it easy. She said, this match is nothing. I am the tornado. I was like, okay, you be that tornado. So then we got Samoa Joe versus Mustafa Ali. Get another short match. Joe was firmly in control and sent Ali to the floor early. He tried to throw Ali into the ring post, but Ali jumped onto the apron. He climbed to the second rope and hit a crossbody. Ali tried to springboard, but Joe shoved him, and he crashed onto the apron hard. George John Cox says, you're cutting it out. Nobody else is saying anything, so it might just be you. Are you buffering, maybe? If anybody else has got any issues with my audio, let me know in the chat. So Ali crashed hard on the apron, come back from a commercial, and Joe had the advantage. Scored a 2 count. Ali fought back and hit the rolling X Factor. He followed it up with a dive to the floor. Ali hit a superplex and a tornado DDT for a near fall. Ali went for the 054, and Joe crotched Ali and locked in the coquina clutch for the submission victory. Pretty good match here. Like, again, I said, short, so but they wanted to keep it short because they wanted to give a lot of time to that main event. So in the back, we had the New Day. I think it's pretty funny. Xavier was trying to play pool, but his pool cue was actually his Francesca trombone. So they were asked about the Royal Rumble this weekend. Kayla said, "Hey, if it has to happen, will you guys eliminate each other?" And they kind of looked at each other or whatever, like they almost didn't want to answer. And I didn't like this next part. So Woods and Big E said that they needed to cheer up Kofi. Kofi was sad that he might not be able to keep his feet off the ground. So Kofi just goes, "Wait, I've got an idea." And they were like, "Ooh, yeah?" And she goes, "Well, what's your idea, Kofi?" He goes, "You're going to wait to the Rumble to see that." I didn't like that at all. Because all the cool Kofi Kingston Rumble spots are supposed to be perceived as spontaneous, in-the-moment things. It's not supposed to be, he came up with this in advance and goes, "Now how do I implement this into the match?" No. It's supposed to be, we know it's not premeditated. We know they're premeditated spots. Of course they're premeditated spots. But we're supposed to believe that there's stuff that could have happened just spontaneously. Stuff that could have happened just willy-nilly. Like that one time when Kofi got thrown out of the ring. They showed the clip of this one tonight. Kofi was getting thrown out of the ring, and he had his legs on the apron still, but his hands were on the floor. His legs were kicked up. He walked on his hands all the way over to the ring steps. Legs came down on the ring steps, popped himself back up into the match. That's something that could have been a spontaneous moment kind of deal. But for him to say, "I've got an idea how to keep my feet off the ground," it's like, really? So you know what you're going to do? You're thinking about it in advance? No, it's supposed to be like you get put into position. Now, on the fly, how do you get out of that position? Or how do you not get yourself eliminated from that position? That's just the thing I was thinking of. I could be thinking too much into it, so we'll see. Chris McNutt says there was Tony Chimmel appeared tonight. I didn't see Tony Chimmel. Interesting. We then got the 2 out of 3 falls match, Andrade versus Rey Mysterio. This was a really, really, really good match. Mysterio sent Andrade to the floor and followed up with the Hurricane Rana from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring. He basically came almost off the top rope, jumped right onto him. Great move here. Mysterio ended up on the apron and rocked Andrade with a kick. He followed it up with a seated senton. Mysterio then attempted a springboard crossbody, but Andrade caught him with a drop kick. Excuse me. Mysterio attempted a Hurricane Rana from the second turnbuckle, but Andrade held on. He then stepped up the second turnbuckle, stepped to the top rope, and then hit a just amazing sit-out powerbomb off the top rope for the victory. Whew, it was nuts. But it wasn't really the victory. I digress. It was to win the first fall. Andrade hit a second powerbomb, but only got a 2 count this time. He then picked up Mysterio for another powerbomb, but Rey countered it into a Canadian Destroyer, a great-looking Canadian Destroyer for the second fall victory. Now, here's the issue with this one. They showed the replay about 3 times. With the last replay, with them doing it in slow-mo and the angle they showed, you clearly saw that Andrade's head was nowhere near the mat when they came down off that pile driver, that Canadian Destroyer. Jeffrey New says Tony Chimmel did appear after Kofi said, "What next? Tony Chimmel going to ask us?" I know they made fun of we've had all these different announced women or guys, backstage interviewers. We had Renee, then we had Mike Rome, and now we've got Kayla. So I guess I just overlooked that. Okay. Rey Mysterio got the second fall off the Canadian Destroyer. Go to commercial. When we come back, Andrade missed a charge into the corner and fell to the floor. Mysterio hit a sliding dive under the bottom ropes. He then hit a sunset flip and sent Andrade into the barricade. Mysterio hit a Hurricane Rana for a close near fall. Andrade fought back and locked on the armbar in the ropes. Mysterio attempted a sunset flip to the floor, but Andrade landed on his feet. Andrade then gave Mysterio a powerbomb into the post. Andrade hit a hammerlock DDT, but at the last second as he was going for the pin, Rey got his foot on the ropes. Referee saw it. Andrade then placed Mysterio on his shoulders. Rey reversed into a Hurricane Rana for a close near fall. Mysterio then hit a 619, but as he was going to do his splash, Samoa Joe came out, grabbed Rey, and powerbombed him onto the apron. Disqualification. And technically, they didn't say who won the match, but if you go off of Rey was attacked by Joe, the referee called for the bell. Rey should have technically won that third fall by disqualification. So Rey technically won. So with that, after the match, Joe got on the microphone, said that this is what he's going to do to the 29 other men in the Royal Rumble this Sunday. Joe promised that he was going to win the Royal Rumble. As he went to say another word, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, from 3 weeks ago, Randy Orton with the RKO just came flying in. Like this was some sort of, I don't even know. He was just right in there. Like, holy heck, the way he flew in with that RKO out of nowhere. It was like something like a Mysterio or a Mustafa Ali kind of fly-in dive kind of deal. It was great. So he hits the RKO on Samoa Joe. Doesn't say a word. Climbs to the top rope, does his pose, and that is how SmackDown goes off the air with Randy Orton, who we haven't seen in like 3 weeks at least. We haven't seen him since he was pinned in the Fatal 5-Way #1 contender match. So that was the last time we did see Rey Mysterio. With that was SmackDown. I thought SmackDown was a better show. According to you guys here in the live chat, a lot of you were saying that you thought SmackDown was a better show than Raw as well. Just looking at some of the stuff in the chat. Wrestling Omar 21 with a $1.99 super chat donation said, the Canadian Destroyer is back. Steve Van Blanc says, was it a Mexican Destroyer? Maybe. But we're going to take some calls. Before we do that, though, I want to talk about What Wrestling. Yes, What Wrestling is going to be coming to the PWUnlimited YouTube channel tomorrow night. We will be airing at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. We will be airing 5 matches from their Wrestling Has a Tomorrow show back in May 2018. We will have matches JT Dunn versus Gangrel, Austin Theory versus AR Fox, Zaya Brookside taking on Rachel Ellering, Joey Ryan versus Richard Holiday, and in a no disqualification match, Dan Maff will be going up against a PCO. Again, this does air tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on the PWUnlimited YouTube channel. We are doing this in conjunction with What Wrestling and Strong Style brand. So with that, I want to see all you guys here. Be in the live chat, watching it live. I'll be in the live chat as well. And then as soon as that ends, we will go straight into our Wednesday podcast like normal. Should start right around 9, depending on when this live stream ends. Might be like a minute or two after to just switch everything over from that live stream to the podcast live stream. But essentially, right around the normal time for the Wednesday show, we will start the Wednesday show following some What Wrestling. So now, time for you guys to tell me what you thought of tonight's SmackDown Live. Let's take some calls. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim, what's up?
Not much.
Well, I just want to make a comment about that Rey Mysterio Andrade Andrade match. Whew, that was good. I just hope that they don't continue to, just push this match every single week. Do you think they will?
I get what you're saying. We don't want it to be oversaturated, like too much of a good thing. I don't know. I think maybe they hold off for a couple weeks, maybe like a month or so, maybe give it to us again in like late February, March. Who knows? Maybe this could be leading to a Mania feud. That'd be cool.
Yeah. That'd be cool. And also, I want to touch on one more thing before I let you go.
Sure.
You've talked to me before about how, you don't need to be on TV every single week with SmackDown. It's better that way. But my thing is that U.S. Championship it means absolutely nothing now. I mean, we haven't seen Rusev, Nakamura, anybody in like a month. Like, I don't think that title means nothing.
Very true, and I forgot to mention, they announced that's a pre-show match for this Sunday.
Ugh. It gets even worse.
And to your credit here, you're saying that title means nothing. In this match, it means nothing either, because Rusev said that he wants Nakamura not as the U.S. champion, but as a husband, because he wants revenge on Nakamura for quote-unquote hurting Lana, when technically he made Nakamura fall on top of Lana.
Yeah, that was stupid.
So he even said it. I want Nakamura not as the champion. I want him as a husband to get revenge for my wife.
Yeah. Now I know Nakamura. He's getting older. He doesn't want to be on TV every week, and he wants to, settle down in the ring. But I didn't know it was gonna be this bad, where the U.S. Championship, his feud is like a once every 6 week sort of thing. But that's just my opinion.
I want to say thank you for the call and have a great night.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't think it's the fact of Nakamura doesn't want to work every week. I don't think that's it at all. It's a fact of he'll be on the show when they tell him to be on the show. They just don't book him. I don't know why. They don't book him for the show every week. Now, it's okay if you miss a show here and there, like I've said before. Like, you go 2 weeks, miss a show, you're back the next week after you missed. Or we see with Randy Orton. Randy Orton will work like 3 or 4 weeks, take 2 or 3 off, and then he's back on again. That works. We see it in NXT all the time. The champions are not on every show. Undisputed Era, they're not on every show. Matt Riddle, not on every show. Tommaso Ciampa, not on every show. And it's fine because, you get them in spurts. But when you got guys like Nakamura and Rusev, who they're in a legit feud right now, but we don't see them for 3 weeks, either of them, that's not good. You need at least one guy each week on the show to further that feud, whether it's just a promo saying the Royal Rumble, you're going to get what's coming to you, Nakamura. I'm going to have Lana out there, and she's going to see what I'm going to do to you, something like that. But if neither of them are on the show, why should we care about this title match? Why should we care about this feud at all? Let's take another call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim. I have 2 questions.
Okay.
One, I think Andrade and Rey, when they wrestling together, they make the match very good. They work together very good.
They do.
Every week. And I think they need to keep doing their feud, but not have them wrestling every Tuesdays.
Right.
And I think they should have better feud coming up later this year. Have them so feuding and fighting together.
Right.
Still. And in the other track then, if Becky Lynch lose and she entered the Women's Rumble, will they do the 1994 when they...
Too hard to tell. No one knows. We don't know what the plan is because there's multiple...
winners.
Right. I know exactly what you're saying.
Charlotte.
Right. Bret Hart, Lex Luger, both men falling out of the ring at the same time. They're both declared the winners technically. I don't know if they're going to do that again. They could, but there's other ways if they do want to do this triple threat at WrestleMania. There's other ways to get into that. So I don't think they have to do that finish because the fans probably wouldn't like that finish anyways. I mean, it didn't really go over that well back then, so why do it again? But I want to say thank you for the call and have a great night.
Thank you.
I mean, I see a lot of people trying to, say, hey, maybe they can do that double finish in the Rumble. Maybe both women can fall out. But that's kind of a risky thing, especially with Charlotte being so much taller than Becky. She'll probably hit first, and then Becky's just the winner. Because it worked back then because you didn't have fans that can go on social media and replay that footage so super slow-mo. But now, you've got fans that can go on Twitter, slow down that footage so much that they be like, look, She hit first. There's your loser. And then WWE may have to address it. So I don't think they're going to do that one again. I think there's going to be one winner, whether that is somebody from Raw or Becky or Charlotte, and then we go on and we figure out what we're going to do for WrestleMania. Whether they do the triple threat, whether they do Ronda versus Becky or Ronda versus Charlotte, we'll see how it goes. Let's take another call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey man, what's good?
How's it going?
Boy. Well, pretty much I got three things and that's it. First off, I want to tell all the other people that are thinking, either Charlotte or Becky or Charlotte will win the Rumble, or since if they pull a John Cena and a Batista back in 2005.
Now that was an accident, right? They weren't supposed to both fall over the top rope.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling all these people just straight up of Charlotte and Becky main eventing Mania and the triple threat is not gonna happen because Vince is obviously gonna come out and say, hey, nope, restart the match overtime, and then boom, when Becky or Charlotte gets the win.
Now here's the thing, though.
Doesn't make sense.
Here's the thing, though. Last I heard, which was just this past week, the plan still for Mania is the triple threat.
But what happened? But what happens was like this. Like, what if it does come true and it happens by accident? And Charlotte and Becky both get eliminated by accident. And what do they do? Do they A, send the match in overtime? B, have a match at one of the next pay-per-views before Mania? Let's see who challenges Rousey. Or C, all the, or C, I don't know.
Well, if they do the double winner spot, I feel like they'll just give them both the match and say, you know what? You both keep saying you want Ronda Rousey. Well, how about you both take her on? You both get the opportunity to prove who's better. If they're gonna do that, if they're gonna do that double winner spot, then they both have to go to Mania. I think it would diminish the whole spot if they were to say, oh, you both want to be the winner, but then Fastlane, you're gonna fight for the real, right to be the number one contender. So I think that if they do that double win spot, they got to go with the triple threat. If they don't, which I hope they don't, then they can get there a different way.
I'd say, here's what I personally think. I'd say Becky could see Nia spot in the Rumble or something. I don't care.
I mean, there's still what, 6 open spots in the Rumble. So if they don't announce every spot, we still got that opportunity where Becky could still get in there and enter the Rumble if there's not, every spot known to be taken.
Yeah, I don't care. Well, I'm not just saying this as a Becky fan. I just legit don't care. I just want to see Becky. I just want to see Becky win the Rumble and get this over with.
I don't know if you can say get it over with. I think it's going to be a really good match, whether it's the singles match with Becky and Ronda or it's the triple threat match where you add Charlotte Flair in there as well. But I want to say thank you for the call and have a great night.
One more thing. One more thing.
Too many people trying to call in. We can't go 5 minutes. We got to let everybody get an opportunity. Calling on the air. What's going on?
Hey, who do you think will face Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania?
I mean, that's a tough one. I would have thought maybe.
I think Seth Rollins is going to win the Rumble.
Right, and I think if Seth wins the Rumble, he's going to challenge Brock Lesnar. That's my opinion. Now, I thought going into Royal Rumble, you can have Mustafa Ali as the challenger at the Royal Rumble, and then you do the AJ Styles Daniel Bryan rematch at WrestleMania, because those two guys in a singles match at WrestleMania would just be amazing. Yeah, it'll still be a really, really good match at the Royal Rumble, but those guys working together at Mania, they're going to want to put on such a good match, probably try to have one of the best Mania matches of all time if possible. So I thought that is how they could have gone. But honestly, it's all up in the air. They're really pushing Joe right now, so maybe Joe.
Do you think if Finn Balor beats Brock Lesnar, then Drew McIntyre wins the Rumble, and if Brock beats Balor, Seth Rollins wins the Rumble?
I think either way, Brock is beating Finn. There's no way Finn wins on Sunday. And, I mean, there's a chance maybe we can see Drew McIntyre win. But I still think, and the last I heard, as of yesterday, the plan was still Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
Do you think Drew will win the title or challenge it around like SummerSlam?
That's too hard to say because how frequently WWE likes to change their plans. So thinking anything farther down the line than WrestleMania, we don't know. No one can really guess that because they probably don't even know.
Okay.
All right. I want to say thank you for the call and have a great night.
You too.
All right. Let's take a few more calls here. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
How's it going, Tim? How's your night going?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Smackdown was pretty good, and from what I recall, I don't think we saw any backstage cameos from the new NXT call-ups.
Yeah, I didn't notice any either, which was odd since they were quote unquote all supposed to be on both shows.
Yeah, maybe that's just a sign of they're gonna start doing things with them, but I digress. So I'm kind of tired of hearing that all this speculation for Becky and Charlotte maybe tying, having that double elimination spot happening. I don't think that's going to happen because, first of all, do we know the order of the matches for the Rumble?
No, they don't even know the order. Most of the time, they don't
Okay.
finalize the order till like the morning of. Like they may know by like Friday what Rumble match they want to end with, whether that's the men or the women's, and then which one's gonna. Because if they do the same thing they did last year, one Rumble match opens the show, the other Rumble match closes the show. So they They may by like Friday finalize that, but as far as every other match, they probably won't even finalize till the morning of.
Yeah. So let's just say that they have the women's title matches, sort of open the show before the women's Rumble, and Becky Lynch loses. So she finds her way into the Rumble somehow. Charlotte and Becky are in the Rumble. What's to say that Ronda Rousey doesn't get herself involved like she did in the TLC match they had and cost Becky and Charlotte the spot, thus leading to that being the progression to whatever WrestleMania match they're planning, and open the door for someone else to win the Rumble and set up a challenge for Asuka. I don't think anyone's really talked about that.
Correct, but here's the thing with that. This whole Charlotte and Becky wanting revenge on Ronda has died down really since like that week after TLC. So now you got a good idea there. I could picture it completely in my head. Charlotte or Becky's trying to throw the other over the top rope. They're struggling. Ronda comes down and dumps them both at the same time. I could picture that right now. But here's the thing. It really almost wouldn't make sense. Why would Ronda get involved again? She hasn't mentioned either of them on Raw. She hasn't come to SmackDown to try and confront them. Neither of them have come to Raw to try and confront her. She's not feuding with any of them on social media, really. I mean, they kind of got involved with the Sasha stuff with the Four Horsewomen and all that. But it just, to me, really wouldn't make much sense because they're not all involved together or even mentioning each other anymore. They're not even mentioning that we want our Ronda Rousey revenge anymore. They just want to win the Rumble.
Well, perhaps they're just cooling it for now, just to reheat it up again come WrestleMania season.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see. They could set up a backstage angle going into all the matches. So yeah, we'll see.
I mean, you also give me a good idea right there. You say there could be some sort of a backstage angle. Remember, 2004, Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. There was a backstage
that is right.
angle.
Yeah,
There's a backstage angle with them, which led to Brock Lesnar dumping Goldberg out of the Royal Rumble.
that was.
So they could set something up on the show that gets Ronda heated and wants to screw them both, or one of them, and in turn screws them both. Who knows? I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility at all.
Yep, it's always a possibility, and we'll see how that unfolds. But yeah.
Yeah, I want to say thank you for the call and have a great night.
Yep, you too.
I mean, there's always that possibility. No one's really talking about it like he said. There's always that possibility that maybe Ronda interjects herself into the Rumble somehow, not as a competitor, but just something happens where maybe she has a confrontation backstage with Charlotte before the match. And so she wants to screw Charlotte out of the Royal Rumble. Charlotte and Becky are fighting in the Rumble. They're trying to eliminate one another. Ronda comes down, tries to dump Charlotte, and in turn dumps both Charlotte and Becky. Maybe, but let's take a final call. One final call. Calling on the air. What's going on? Caller. Going once. Twice. Nope. Let's try this one. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on? Nope. Didn't get that one either. What's going on?
Yeah. With Samoa Joe and Mustafa Ali, can you see them feuding for the championship sometime?
The
down
WWE
the
championship?
after Mania? Yeah.
That's a tough one. I don't know if Vince sees Mustafa Ali as a legit challenger for the WWE championship. Now, we know Vince does believe in Mustafa Ali and feels like Mustafa Ali is one of those kinds of guys that can get the crowd behind him. Mustafa Ali Mustafa Ali did an interview recently, and he said that Vince gave him one piece of advice, and Vince's advice was, "You're the kind of guy that can get the crowd behind you with that what do you call it? Empathy. Well, I don't know how to say the word exactly, but he said the crowd can get behind you emotionally. And that's something that you have that a lot of guys don't, and Vince told him, use that." So Vince does see something in Mustafa Ali, but I don't know if he sees him as a championship challenger. And plus, if those two are going to feud over the title, you got to get the belt on one of them before.
Right. Or I could see Mustafa Ali holding like the United States title and try to like bring that back to life.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah, because like the United States Championship, that's just a hellhole for right now.
Oh yeah.
It's like a title that, oh my god, I don't know what's up with that title anymore. So.
Yeah, really, since it moved over to Raw or moved over to SmackDown, it's just been a nothing belt.
Right, like on Raw, it was so good on there, like used a lot, even in the main event. Like, I mean, the Intercontinental Championship kind of does good a little bit, but I mean, we got to see where that goes. So, but anyway, have a good night.
All right, you too. Thanks for the call and have a great night.
You're welcome. Yep.
With that, I do want to say thank you guys for joining me here tonight, talking some Smackdown Live on the 22nd of January. You can always follow us right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited on YouTube, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD, on Twitter at PWUnlimited, and if you want to get early access or even exclusive content to Pro Wrestling Unlimited, check out Patreon.com/PWUnlimited. If you sign up for at least the bronze tier, then you will be able to get your question answered on our Wednesday podcast. You know, try to answer as many questions as we can with calls and through the chat and all that. But if you are a bronze tier member, your questions for that week will guaranteed be answered. So we will have a thread up on every Wednesday morning. We'll have a thread go up on the Patreon for bronze tier and above members to answer their questions. And we will answer every question that does come through that thread on Patreon. So again, if you do want to support us there, as low as $1 a month, head over to patreon.com/PWUnlimited. Tomorrow we will also have our first episode of PW List This coming out for early access on Patreon. It's early access and ad-free. So again, I want to say thank you guys for joining me here tonight. Don't miss our What Wrestling stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. And then we will be live with the PW Unlimited Wednesday show following What Wrestling. See you tomorrow, guys.